investigation, solving mysteries in the night. Chasing shadows, finding answers, shining bright light. No one's left behind in the darkness, all alone. With a heart like a siren, she brings the lost ones home. Silent cries in the dark no longer have to be. For justice wheels keep turning, granny on the beat. Broken voices find their power, call out hope again. When Granny's crime busters run, no victims left in pain. Bravery in her veins, truth she won't disguise. With a fire in her eyes, she's got nothing to deny. Granny fights for justice, never backs down from the call. For the voices and the missing, she'll stand tall.
Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing this wonderful evening? Hello, Ginger Girl. Good to see you. Well, we will get started with our spotlight on the missing. We have Braden Michael Lee Woolridge, the handsome young man, missing since June 6th, just a couple of days, guys. Last seen in Staunton, Virginia, and he's 17 years old, and we have nothing else about him. The one line said, Brandon Lee was last seen with unknown clothing. I found that I didn't even put it on there because it was such a stupid statement. So in other words, they don't know what he was wearing when he left. I don't know where the parents are, why they're not speaking out to the media, but we need this young man brought home, don't we? Don't forget, Jonathan Wang is still missing, guys. Last seen March 30th, 21-year-old autistic male. He is high functioning. He does respond to his name, but he does not know how to take care of himself, guys. So, he doesn't know how to purchase anything like that. So if anybody knows anything, they need to reach out to the Arlington PD or even his dad. They have his dad's phone number up there. Travis Decker is still on the run for taking the lives of his three beautiful daughters, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. And they're even saying he could be in Canada. So they say he may be dangerous. Do not approach. Just call 911. All right. And then, of course, we do have Sebastian. And if anybody knows anything, we need to have him home for his dad. All right. So let's see. Hello, Kent. Good to see you. Oh, you got your tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers planted. Good for you. Good for you. I love homemade tomatoes. I used to, when I had my garden, we had so many cucumbers. My mom canned pickles for us. And she had this really good recipe. It was like Clausen. Oh, they were so good. They were yummy. And we canned a lot of tomatoes, that kind of thing. Hello, Melissa. Good to see you. Now you have some provincial trade happening. So we're going to continue our discussion on Jack and Lily Sullivan, guys. I have another video plan that's a little bit longer, but Deception Detective came out with a short one, so I thought we'd watch that first. It's mostly about Dylan Ayler, but he kind of correlates the story to Jack and Lily. So we'll start out with that one and then we'll move on. So I'll share my screen. Let's see. All right.
Yeah. And I'm so tired of waiting. What if it's the police station that is dealing with your son's investigation and they're scared of liability, so they won't check a potential spot of my son? And I'm to the point now that I'm ready to crack. Like, I'm just like right here. Like, I've been sitting on it, pushing and pushing and pushing for a long time. Now that I have all the evidence, it's like nobody gives a shit.
That's the father of Canada's most famous missing child. And no, he's not the biological father of Lily or Jack Sullivan, but the cases are eerily similar. In fact, that's why I'm making this video. Let's watch a documentary about missing Nova Scotian 3-year-old Dylan Ayler and compare Dylan's parents to Lily and Jack's, because only Dylan's parents are acting the way that innocent parents typically do. I'm Deception Detective, an attorney trained in statement analysis. This channel exposes lies and manipulation, so if that's your thing, hit subscribe. For exclusives and other cool perks, join the channel. Link in description. If you're unfamiliar with the disappearance of Dylan Ayler or just new to my series about his case, don't worry, because the documentary we're about to watch will bring you up to speed. So there's just one last thing I wanted to do before we grab our deception decks and start analyzing, and that's to show you a little bit more of the video I played in the intro, because it's the most recent one Dylan's dad uploaded to his channel. In other words, all that anguish and frustration you're hearing, he's been like that for 5 years. Dylan disappeared from his grandma's backyard in Truro, Nova Scotia in 2020.
So if you care about Dylan, find me a goddamn resource that will fucking just sit with me and talk and make me understand what I'm supposed to do with 2 different things that I cannot tell publicly. But for the love of God, can someone just reach out to me? You know, I don't care who has my phone number at this point. No, that'd be stupid. Reach out to me on TikTok. You can message me on there and I'll give you my phone number. Like, I need to get this shit. This needs to be taken care of. It needs to be done. It needs to be done like fucking 2 years ago. And I shouldn't have to live with this. I shouldn't have to live with why nobody gives a shit about a 3-year-old child. So can someone please just reach out? Thank you. Honestly, you know, this isn't a game to me. This is like seriously affecting my mental health. I've even talked to my counselor about it 1,000 times. You know, I have all the evidence and proof. Like, you can take the liability and shove it up your ass, because I don't care about it. I just want it searched. I want it searched so I can have a good night's sleep, if that makes sense. Like, it shouldn't be this way. Like, anyone in politics or someone with some pull, just for Dylan, just give me a call. 506-380.
Yes, he did give out his entire phone number despite his better judgment. And if that's not a testament to how desperate he is, I don't know what is, especially when you understand that he's been the target of relentless, sadistic cyberbullying for years. We covered that in an earlier video in this series, and it's some of the sickest stuff I've ever heard of. I'll link that video on the end card if you want to see for yourself, but just be aware, it will make you truly appreciate the risk he's taking just for the off chance that someone out there watching this might help him. So that's what Dylan's dad is up to 5 years later. Now let's check in on Lily and Jack's parents just 5 weeks later. Well, the mom has been radio silent since the day after they disappeared, and the stepdad has apparently given up searching. That's no bueno. All right, with that context, let's watch.
The official search was canceled after days. So frustrated and so desperate, Jason began conducting his own searches, sometimes 2 and 3 a week. He also scraped together enough money to hire a private investigator.
I can accept the drowning theory if everything else has been eliminated.
Dave Worrell is a former RCMP detective who spent 35 years investigating major crimes, including cold cases. For him, there are questions about Dorothy's recollections.
There were pieces in her story that I'd be a little concerned about, especially the timeline.
This is the last spot that Dorothy says she saw Dylan. Now, there are only two ways out of this backyard. He either would have bolted for Queen Street, busy street here, or he made his way through this gap in the fence and headed for the water.
Just in case you're lost, Dorothy is Dylan's maternal grandmother. So his dad hired a private investigator to investigate his mother-in-law. And that might sound like a mean thing to do, but it's actually exactly how innocent parents act when their kid disappears without a trace. If there's no evidence that they were kidnapped, everyone becomes a suspect, especially the person who was the last person to see them alive, and their story doesn't sound quite right. And both of those things apply to Dorothy. And once again, this is a big contrast with the Lily and Jack Sullivan case, because in that case, they're both drifting in and out of sleep when the kids, much like Dylan, either went out to the road or ran into the bush and got lost. But the difference is that Dylan's dad is accusing and investigating everyone because he doesn't know what happened. That's what happens when you don't know what happened. Whereas Lily and Jack's parents aren't accusing each other, nor are they accusing anyone else who lived on the property. In other words, they're acting like every other set of parents we've analyzed on the channel, who I believe are hoaxing and covering for each other. Like the parents of Madeleine McCann, who never accused each other, even though Jerry McCann wasn't around when Kate McCann supposedly discovered that Madeleine was missing. Or the parents of Sebastian Rogers, who never accused each other, even though Chris Proudfoot wasn't around when Katie Proudfoot supposedly discovered that Sebastian was missing. Same goes for Summer Wells. Dawn wasn't around when Candace supposedly discovered that Summer was missing. Same with John and Patsy Ramsey to a degree. Like the parents of Lily and Jack Sullivan, their story is that they were both asleep when John Bonet was kidnapped and murdered. So how could they possibly know for sure that the other one didn't do something while they were asleep, or someone else in the house, like John Bonet's brother Burke, didn't do something while they were sleeping? As I constantly say on the channel, this sort of conclusiveness is the telltale sign of a hoax. People knowing or being sure about something that they couldn't possibly know if their story were true.
The police theory is that Dylan was drawn to the water and was washed away by the strong current. But Worrell says police didn't seem to even entertain the possibility that the 3-year-old may have headed toward the street.
The canvassing on Queen Street too, because that was my concern, and the police hadn't done anything on Queen Street.
Police didn't canvass on Queen Street?
I don't think anybody we talked to said they've never been approached.
There's only 2 ways that boy could have gone. You go back to Queen Street 6 months later and interview people along there, prime areas of where he would have been, potentially.
Yeah.
And the people tell you they've never been spoken to by police.
That's what they told us.
You must have been shocked.
Yeah, I mean, shocked or not surprised. I mean, that, you know, if you don't have a good team, and that's all they do.
That's sad to hear because that private investigator used to be a cop over in Canada. So the fact that he's not surprised that they didn't follow up on every possible lead to find Dylan doesn't bode well for Lily and Jack. Hopefully they've learned some things along the way. By the way, I've not watched this documentary yet. In each installment of this series, I'm watching it along with you so I can do a live reaction. Let me know if you want me to continue this series. Until next time, stay true.
Okay. So I find that interesting. And I agree with his synopsis that they aren't fighting, right? Not like Jason Ayler is, right? And I feel bad for him. And if it's true that they didn't dot their I's and cross their T's and do their due diligence, especially on that street they were talking about for Dylan, I'd be upset too as a parent, but I would have maybe said something long before now. And maybe he did, I don't know. I think Mr. Yummy missed the fight in the front yard when everybody was blaming Daniel, when they didn't find any sign of the kids in the woods. Daniel never said he was sleeping. Yeah, I don't know what he knows or doesn't know. Hello, Amy. Good to see you. So, we're talking about Jack and Lily, Amy, but we just watched a video kind of comparing Dylan Ayler's case to Jack and Lily's case, basically the parents. And Ginger, I don't know what he means about the liability for the police. Are the police saying that to him or something? I don't know if they're saying that they have no liability for Jason to be able to search. I don't know. Not sure. All right, glad you caught up, Amy. So yeah, not a whole lot there. I've noticed that deception detectives videos are shorter now. They're kind of short and sweet and to the point, right? Yeah, I do understand that Jason has been fighting with the police since, and they have a no contact order against him. So I don't know. I don't know what that's all about. In my opinion, I mean, I guess I don't know what happened to bring that on, but I just think it's pretty rotten that you would put a no contact order on the child or on the parent of a missing child. I just think that's sad. No, I have heard, I'm trying to remember where I saw it. The pants, the guy that was out with Jason searching, the one that his team found the pants, he did a video and he stated that they analyzed the pants against several pictures of Dylan wearing those pants, camo pants, and Dylan's pants had cuffs around the bottom, which these pants did not. The pattern, the camo pattern, was not the same. Dylan's pants had a pocket, and these did not, side pockets. These did not have side pockets. And when the pants dried, police deemed that they were way too big for what Dylan would have been wearing. So, however, that same person said that the boots that they found, he believed were Dylan's boots, even though Jason says they were not. So, I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt, I guess. Deception detective is short now, we'll agree. You want more drama? So yeah, I mean, it had to be disheartening for him. Absolutely, Neuro. If neither the boots or the pants were Dylan's, you do seriously have to wonder, was it possible that he was washed out to the ocean? And that scares me because with all the water references that the parents, that Daniel and Malehya have used, it scares me. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to listen to a little bit of Mike DeMann. By the way, guys, keep Canine in your prayers. She's not feeling good today, so hope she gets better. And Brenda Jo is on her way home, so.
Children, Jack and Lily Sullivan, were reported missing. They were reported missing on May 2nd. This interview was given on May 3rd, on a Saturday. So let's listen until the good part comes.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own.
Drifting in and out. Like drifting into the ocean.
Oh, wow.
We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that slide.
And just to bring up something else, since I'm at it, I have not said that either Malehya or Daniel hurt the children on purpose. I need to make this very clear, because yesterday I listened to that channel and they kept saying, well, but I can't imagine if these parents hurt them or this or that. That's never what I said. You got to get it really, really straight. I believe something terrible had happened to Jack and Lily, at least to Jack. And negligence or endangerment could be a huge part in that. There is guilt. So the reason, in my opinion, that Daniel Martel keeps telling us how much he cared about the children, how much he cared for them, and how little Malehya cared for them. They are both at fault here, in my opinion, for what had taken place. Both of them.
He sounds like a hypnotist. I think it's probably just his accent that you're reacting to. He is hard to listen to. That's why I try to break it up as often as I can. Mike is a statement analyst, and he's gotten pretty vocal lately, especially about this case. I don't know. I'm not going to say that I agree with him all the time, but I do try to listen to statement analysis, behavior analysis, professionals in missing children's cases. And the reason that I do that is because it helps us to understand, is there something going on, right? I do agree with him that they were both negligent. They were. If it's true that they were sleeping and those kids were up, that's negligence. You know, it just is. Especially where they lived. Maybe it's true what Malehya said, but that they were the type of kids that didn't go outside by themselves. But you know what? All it takes is one time. Did they see something outside that, oh, I want to play with that toy. Let's go out and get it, Jack. Right? All it takes is one time. One time. His boards, yes. I agree with you. At least he's gotten away from them. The only thing that I have noticed with his computer, at least when he was showing his keyboard, was that it was really dirty. I could see hairs on it and everything. It's kind of gross. At least he's not showing he's not showing his keyboard anyways. So yes, he is hard to listen to, isn't he, guys? He really is. And, and that's why I don't show him a lot. And I try to break him up as much as I can. But I do try to listen to what he's saying regarding statement analysis so that we can glean something. When you think about the fact this case could go cold very quickly, a lot quicker than Sebastian's, if you think about it. And it's scary. Well, I'm sure he's still got the whiteboard, Kent. You're going to be focused on the keyboard now. All I have to do is go back a couple of videos, Neural, and you can see it. Yes, I was too. I was fascinated with the boot statement. They took their boots, not they wore their boots, right? So who took their boots, right? It does make you wonder, more and more. I mean, I think it was just Ginger that shared some stuff with me this morning about what Wikipedia has to say about true crime. And one of the things they you don't want to see it, Knurl. One of the things that they said, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Is are criminals watching true crime channels? And are they watching us pull apart all this stuff and looking, especially like statement analysis, behavior analysis, things that they could get caught if they did it themselves, right? And I think they are. I mean, what was a big deal about Sebastian's case? The fact that he didn't have shoes on when he went missing, so that he was carried out. So if you're a criminal, then you're going to make sure that Jack and Lily have their boots. Maybe you just grab them as you're going. I mean, I don't know. See what I'm saying? So, yeah, but no coats. Good point, Kent. No coats, right? And no coats. Sebastian, all we know is that he had on a short sleeve t-shirt when he was at TRH. But they said it was a long sleeve t-shirt that he was wearing when he left. It still wouldn't have been enough in the 30-degree weather at the time. Lost shoes are posted by predators often. Exactly. That is really huge, isn't it? All right, let's continue on.
Both of them. I don't know if it's 80-20. I don't know if it's 50-50, 40-60. It doesn't make a difference right now to me. So when people ask, so who is more guilty? It doesn't matter. They both are. So did he do it? Did she do it? No, he never said anything about she did it. he is telling you she had fault in it as well. So the reason.
So, and remember, deception detective stated that, and we've seen it, innocent parents will blame, doesn't matter. You know, Jason Ehlers is blaming his mother-in-law, right? She was the last person with Dylan. And there's red flags in her story, right? You know, we have seen it over and over again. And yet, Malehya, while she has gone radio silent and she has changed her Facebook to single, she's not speaking out against Daniel. You know, she's not letting everybody know she's blaming him, but she's not talking to him either. It does give us a little bit of insight. Daniel's not, I mean, the only thing he's kind of inferring that she has mental health issues, right? And we don't know that that's true. I'm not going to take his word for it. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I would need to hear that from Malehya herself. Could she be distraught right now? I mean, what mother wouldn't be? Yeah. Her behavior seems like she is blaming him for something, right? I'm not supposed to judge. I'm judging all over on this one. Well, I think true crime is looking at the facts. And of course, I mean, even in a trial, you have to make a judgment, right? You just do. I don't know if any of you have served on a jury. I have. I took it very seriously, very responsibly, had headaches every day. By the time we were done, it was really frustrating and irritating, and I was glad when it was over, honestly. It was a frivolous lawsuit case, in my opinion. And, well, in most of the jurors' opinions, actually all of us felt that it was frivolous. There's just one lady who thought she should have gotten a little bit of money because she didn't have the same voice that she had before. But anyway, long story. You make a judgment, right? So I'm not making a judgment as to who I think is guilty, but I am looking at red flags. And I got to tell you, there's red flags on both sides here. There just is. Do I think that they both have guilty knowledge? I do. I don't know how much. And it's kind of like Mike Demand said here. I don't know if it's 80-20, you know, is it 50-50? I don't know, right? This is a case that's really difficult to determine because we don't have a lot of facts. And as everybody knows that's been here for a while, I try to stick with facts only. I won't go by, I won't get caught up in drama, right? If I think that something isn't relevant, I'm not going to talk about it. If it's gossip, if it's only done to try to put someone in bad light, and the alleged text from Daniel, I believe, were just done to try to put Malehya in a bad light, and then he tried to retract them all, and then there was drama over that. And guys, yeah, I don't do that here. So, and I know there's been other things as well. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because it doesn't help us find Jack and Malehya. What does matter is looking at their statements when they're talking about the search for Jack and Lily, right? To see, are they giving us a concealed confession like Greg Hartley talked about? You have done jury duty, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it isn't worth it. Number one, it might, I don't know about your employer, but my employer was not happy that I was gone. It was not a convenient time of the year. And I think it was around Christmas. And yeah, I don't know. But we need jurors. I get that, but I thank God my hearing is such that I couldn't be a juror anymore. The mother had more responsibility here because she was a children's legal guardian. Yeah. And honestly, it doesn't look good that she wasn't up with her children, right? Most mothers are going to think that, right? Now, did they have an agreement? Was Daniel supposed to be up while she took a nap with the baby? I mean, I don't know, right? But the ball was dropped and 2 children went missing. If that's what happened, we only have their words. We only have their word for it. Can we trust that? I don't know. Let's continue on.
And the reason that he brings up that he cared more for the children, he is trying to hit a point. And his point is that she should have cared more for the children in general. So his point is, don't put this on me. Don't put what happened on me. This is not my responsibility. It is more your responsibility as a mother. So just because I was negligent, endangering, what have you, it should have been you as a biological mother that should have taken care of them more. And now I am the only one that is fighting for us, for our freedom, for the truth not to come out. And he says the truth always has its way of coming out. Well, he feels that she is more responsible. And I don't care if he is a so-called narcissist or what have you. Most people here are on the wrong track. And what we don't want to do is assign guilt. We want to understand how he perceives guilt to be handed out. What are his thoughts? And in a statement, he said 100%. No, he wants you to know that he is not solely responsible. And if anybody should be held accountable, if anybody should have made sure nothing happened to these kids, it should have been Malehya, just because he, according to him, cared more for these children. And I'm not saying cared about these children, but cared for these children more. Doesn't mean he suddenly should have more of a responsibility, because at one point he failed to care for them, causing what I believe was something terrible to happen, at least to Jack. And I believe he took care of the situation, covered their tracks.
sliding door and we can't hear it.
And I need to make this very, very clear, because I listened to their channel one more time, and they are, it is more misleading to listen to an option that is so extreme while leaving out the options that make more sense. And the option is that there was severe negligence. Something had happened.
When it opens, and they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next
Here's my question. You know, I've always said, how did she know they were outside playing? What Mike is saying here makes me wonder. Did something happen to one of them? He evidently thinks it happened to Jack, and they covered it up. Did something happen to one of them? I mean, I don't know, right? You know, and did it happen outside, and that's where they found them? I mean, you know, and that's the thing. We don't know. We do not know. Let me see here. Looks like I missed some things. Is our CMP continuing to do smaller searches? They usually broadcast when they're going to do a search, and they haven't. So, I mean, I don't know if they are doing smaller searches. Exactly. If they are, they're not telling the public about it. And you got to remember that when they do call these people in, it costs a lot of money. So they got to have some kind of a tip to call them back in. Yes, Kent, I talked about that a while ago, that you would get up and get breakfast for the kids. I mean, at least you would think you would, but I don't know. They're not telling us whether they did and went to lay back down, right? Well, here's another thing. You know, they've used a lot of water references. Did they have a kiddie pool back there? You know, that conveniently is now gone, right? But was there a kiddie pool back there? Did one of them drown? I mean, I don't know. Just throwing out all kinds of things, but No, she never said she made breakfast for the other two. But she did say she got up at 6:17 to let the school know that they weren't coming. No. No, no one is saying that. We don't know, honestly. Yes, Marilyn. Hello, Marilyn. Good to see you. Yes, they said Lily was sick with a cough. And one of the things that I have noticed when people talk about this is that they say, well, Lily had a cough. I don't know why. Well, I heard that whooping cough is going around there. So, guys, that's huge. And schools will tell you if your child has when whooping cough is going around, schools will tell you if your child has a cough, keep them home. Right? And that would have been why Jack didn't go either. Because he would have been susceptible. Even though he may not have had a cough, he would have been susceptible. Yeah, the home is so remote. Well, you would think so, wouldn't you? So I guess that's what I'm trying to say is that we do know they're guilty of neglect, right? Negligence for not taking, because at their own words, they said they were in bed and they heard the kids. Well, if they were in bed and they heard the kids in the next room, then they should have gotten up. But I think that's all a story. So, yes, so exactly, Kent. So that's why it makes sense to me that she would keep Lily and Jack home if Lily had a cough. Nobody else is picking up on that. They're going, I don't know why they kept Lily home if she just had a cough. Excuse me, if whooping cough's going around, she has to. No brainer there. Yeah, and I heard later that the brown shirt and brown pants came from Daniel going through Jack's clothes to see what was missing, and that's what they came up with. So, yeah, well, 9 something. Because I think she called 911 at 9:40. So it was 9 something. But yes, I agree. Now you wouldn't think that a 16-month-old baby would be keeping you up. I don't know. Exactly. It's not a little cold. It is not. And it's dangerous. They can die from that. Yeah, 911 was called at 9:40. But let's continue on.
Next thing we knew, the road.
It was 40 Fahrenheit outside. I checked it. 40 Fahrenheit. And they didn't have their coats on. I have my coat on when it's 60 or 70. For those of you who go by Celsius, I think, what was it? The fluctuation. 39 would be 4 degrees, but later it became 4. It was really damn cold. It was not that far from freezing. It got warmer then, pretty soon. By 8, I think it was 43 maybe. By 9, 8 or 9, it was 43. And I'm not going to look it up right now what that is in Celsius, but it was damn cold. Really, really cold. And I believe when they removed the children from the home.
Okay. So Kent and Ginger, excuse me, right? 40 degrees is not DAMN cold, in my opinion. Experience 20 and 30 below before you tell me that 40 degrees is that cold. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure where Mike Demand lives, but it cracks me up when people say, stop with the accent. Well, Amy, that's his accent. I mean, can't. It's chilly. It's not cold. And it's not DAMN cold. That makes it worse, right? That's what I'm thinking. Does he live in the tropics or something? Because 40 degrees is not cold, and it's not DAMN cold. Sorry. I just have to laugh whenever I hear that. Oh my goodness. All right, let's continue. Let's continue listening to how cold it is.
They forgot the coats. They made sure red pink boots for Lily, blue boots for Jack, and the backpack. And
why was the backpack important, I
that
wonder?
they kept the coats, their boots and belongings on. They didn't have them on. They made sure that these items were removed. These children didn't leave the house. What happened inside of the house, and they were not dressed in the boots, and the backpack was lying around somewhere, but it was not outside. It was not being used. They made sure these items would be removed because they didn't have them on. And that's why Daniel's message about they wouldn't keep these boots and belongings on for so long, or something like that. And I am really surprised on a daily basis by the amounts of good comments I get from people who get it, and the other people who come from other channels who are just completely blinded. Not only are they completely blinded, they are vocal about it. They are used to throwing around guesses, and guesses that are so easily, so blatantly false. But then I see channels that also promote the same falsehoods. They just blur crap out. There's no thought. When it gets difficult, they say, oh, I can't handle this one. I get back to it later. And they never get back to it. And now it bothers me. I want to see now the exact messages from Daniel Martel. And now I'm doing what I hate in others, when I have to wait and there's dead air, but I don't care. I'm doing this for a reason. So the exact wording is what I'm going to look up right now. The exact wording. Does anybody here remember? I'm taking my time because I believe it's better for me to take my time than just to overlook anything. And leave boots and all their belongings on. She said to me, so unlikely for kids to venture out to the on their own if they don't usually do it. Duh. With their coats off, right? With their coats off. At 4 degrees, maybe a little bit more, but less than 10 degrees, right? That's Celsius, by the way. That's damn cold. 40, a little bit over 40 Fahrenheit. That's extremely cold, people. And leave boots and have boots and all their belongings on. Why would they take their boots off if they wandered into the forest? And I am not surprised that after that, Daniel said, oh, this is enough. I'm finished. I'm done.
Extremely cold, guys. Just my thought, would the children put their boots on and take a play backpack if they visited their grandma in her trailer? No need for a jacket for that short walk. But then what, Ginger? Then what? I mean, and it was raining, wasn't it? So, I mean, do I think it's possible the kids walked out without their jackets? Of course. But then what? Because they searched everything. They never found them. I agree with you, Marilyn. But I think they have been interviewed. Everybody on that property was interviewed. So, oh, you're not going to get into your wicked imagination. Yeah. Well, and that's what I was going to say, Amy, was when it comes springtime and it's 40 and sunny, we have people in Wisconsin walking around in shorts, right? I mean, because that's, it's a heat wave. That just cracks me up, though. It's extremely cold. But, I mean, and I think as far as this goes, I didn't realize he was going to be showing these and talking about them. So I'm going to kind of leave it at that because I don't want to go there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. He brings up some good points. I don't know. I think that there probably was some kind of an accident. And I don't know. I do think the water references in their statements are important. Diving in, running in waist deep water, you name it, right? So Yeah, I found it odd that Grandma was napping early in the morning. She had cats, dogs, and chickens to feed. Yeah. Did the kids go out to help Grandma feed the chickens? I mean, I don't know. Where does Mike live? I don't honestly know. Does it say on his video? Yeah, doesn't say on his video. I looked at his about and it doesn't really say. So I'm not sure. Do not know for sure. Daniel did say the children like to feed the chickens grass and bugs. I mean, I'm just saying, could an accident have happened? Did they go out with Grandma to feed the chickens? Did some kind of accident happen? I mean, I don't know, right? The thing that I don't understand though is if there was an accident, why not be honest? Right? You like a nap or two yourself now that you've reached old age. See, I've never been much of a napper unless I'm sick. If I'm not feeling well, I'll nap. Or if I, since I've gotten old, there are nights when I can't sleep and I'm up all night. And then, the next day I am just worn out and I will take naps all day long that next day. But even when I was a kid, I didn't nap. I didn't like it. It used to make my mom mad. But if you believe they were going to school and then got abducted, I don't believe that, Kent. So, I mean, just saying. I don't believe they were going to school. I think, did they go out to help Grandma feed the chickens? Did they maybe go out by themselves to play, kind of like what Malehya said? Because sticking to the truth is the most important thing when you're trying to tell a lie. Because if you stick to the truth, that's what you hear, right? You stick to the truth as much as possible, right? And something happened outside to them, right? But yeah, so you have to wonder. See, my mom would make us, I'd lay there for an hour. I couldn't sleep. Yes. And it's true. Familial abduction or harm is most often a family member, according to statistics. The child were harmed by a family member of a close friend of the family. Yeah. That's what I honestly think. Something happened to those kids. Was it so bad I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Right. But what are you talking about, Melissa? You looked, but you didn't see where. What are you talking about? I want to answer your question, but I don't know what you're saying. But yes, I don't think I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how many family members Daniel has, right? I know he has a dad. I've heard talked about. I know his brother does live just down the road. Oh, gotcha. Where Mike was from. Yeah. I looked too, and it doesn't say on his channel. And I don't think I've ever heard him say either. No, Daniel's brother doesn't live in the trailer. Daniel's brother lives about a mile or two down the road. But he's over there all the time. Hello, Ren. Good to see you. The health department here has only said there was one case of whooping cough in a school in Halifax. The last news reports I've seen said there were no further cases reported. Oh, interesting. Well, thanks for the clarification. It is strange that Daniel is always alone and has no family members standing beside him. Yeah. Well, there was a picture of him and his brother with the four-wheeler. So I don't know. But, I mean, either way, if an accident happened, then both Daniel and Malehya would be aware that, which we both considered them, deception detective, Mike Demand, both feel that they have guilty knowledge, right? And even Greg Hartley, behavior analysis, said the same thing. There was, red flags on both. So that does give us some kind of inkling that they both are aware of something. But Greg Hartley is leaning more toward Daniel. I don't think either Mike or deception detective have said beyond a shadow of a doubt that they think Daniel did something, but so they were still taking precautions, Kent. Yeah, I mean, I would think that, and if a parent heard that on the news, if their kid's coughing, all of a sudden they're going to keep them home because yeah, it is rough. It is. It is hard. Yeah. Whooping cough is nothing to mess around with, guys. They can die from that. So what happened? Was it them? Like my title, is there a hidden culprit? family, close friend. Because here's the thing. They're not in those woods. They would have found them, guys. I really believe that. RCMP did an awesome job. You know, they've done what, 8 kilometers now, 8 square kilometers around the house. So if they were in the woods, they would have been found, in my opinion. As far as anything else, I mean, we don't know. Footprints leading to the driveway, which would have been normal on a school day, right? That thing could have been there from Tuesday, right? So, and I don't know about you guys, but I just don't believe they were abducted. I just don't. Not by stranger abduction, not where they live. I think it was familial, family, or close friend, in my opinion. And do I think that Daniel and Malehya know what happened? I do. They know something. They know something. You know, like I said, was it an accident? What about these water references? Is that where they took them? The water references bother me a lot, guys. I'm not going to lie. Bother me a lot. Because even Greg Hartley said it's a concealed confession. Don't you think they would have done that, though, Ginger? I wonder how long it takes to do a tower dump in that area. Geofencing would be easy in an area that has limited residents and traffic. Yeah. Yeah. And the sudden distance with the mom. Well, something went on. There was some kind of fight. That's why she left. Well, Daniel told us that his mother made her leave. What's the truth? I don't know. But when she did leave, she took down all pictures of Daniel off her Facebook and she changed her status to single. That speaks volumes. She removed every trace of Daniel off of her Facebook. Every single picture she had. And the reason that I know that is because people had found her Facebook before she took it all down, and they had taken pictures. They had copied pictures of her and Daniel and everything. And then all of a sudden, when they went back, all those pictures were gone of her and Daniel. Yeah, Daniel said he would search forever, yet now he's not searching. And guys, when he made the statement, I'm the only one speaking for Jack and Lily searching, you know, that said to me something. It said, is he frustrated and angry because he is the one left there and they weren't even his kids? Or was he trying to make himself look good? Or both? I mean, I don't know. Right? You don't normally say that. Melissa, you think she's blaming Daniel and she's angry? Yeah. Could be. Could be. But her interview wasn't, I mean, it had red flags as well, right? How did she know they were outside playing? Oh, but we didn't know that at the time. Well, then why say that? How did you know they ever did if you don't know where they were? How did you know they went outside to play? You know, that makes no sense. Cheryl, I don't know where Mike Demand lives. Kent, I do agree with you. No matter who was guilty, she was in bed, right? If what she said is true, she was in bed and she could hear her children in the next room. She needed to get up. Yeah, it was 8 or 8:30, something like that, just me. And welcome in, by the way. We're happy to have you. Yeah, Melissa, I know. I know. Yeah, I can imagine she feels a lot of guilt, you know. Whether she's truly guilty of anything that happened to the children, I don't know. But the point is her children are gone, and what was she doing whenever they left? What happened, right? There's just too much left unsaid. There's too much that we don't know, right? So my answer to my question, Daniel versus Malehya, or is there a hidden culprit? My answer is I don't know. No matter how much we try to dig into it, I don't know. There are red flags everywhere. Everywhere. Yeah, exactly, Amy. We don't know a thing. But just like in Sebastian Rogers' case, those kids didn't walk out that door. Or let's say this. Those kids didn't leave the property on their own. Two parents, too calm, very strange. You said it, Marilyn. Yeah. Too many unanswered questions and red flags for everyone on that property. And even though the brother doesn't live there, I include him in that as well because he's over there all the time. I'm just saying, family. It is a sign of intelligence. Yes, it is. Well, here at Granny's Crime Busters, I don't I try to look at the facts, and we try to look at everything with a critical eye, and use critical thinking and being as objective as possible. That's why I stick to that kind of stuff. That's why I stopped Mike Demand's video. I won't go there. Now, if you guys want to go and watch the rest of his video with those texts and whatever he has to say about him, feel free. The link is in the description for the video. I just don't, because those, in my opinion, do not help us to find Jack and Lily. The way he was lounging on that quad was a red flag. Yeah. I had it right the first time. They didn't leave the house on their own. Well, I'm willing to say that they could have left the house and something happened outside. We all know how bad that place was, right? I mean, that yard, they could have gotten hurt. I'm willing to say that, but they didn't leave the property on their own. Yeah. What about Dylan from Nova Scotia? Still not found from Jack and Lily. I know. I am really beginning to believe, since none of the clothing or the boots seem to be Dylan's, I'm really starting to wonder if he didn't fall into the creek and get washed out to the ocean. And that's why they haven't been able to find him, because his dad has been diligently searching ever since it happened. And I really honestly believe that he would have found him by now. And I hate that, because I don't think Jason, I'm worried about him. I'm really worried about him. It's gotten to be too much for him, I think, and I'm really worried about him. Well, none of the steps had a handrail. Not one of those steps had a handrail. On there, oh, I don't know, is that a little bit of a handrail right there? And on the front, they were just making front steps, so those didn't have a handrail yet. But yeah, if you look, they could have gotten hurt. I mean, I don't know. But my grannyism for today is guilt does for the conscience, for the spirit, what pain does for the body. It is meant to grab your attention, to make you stop and consider your actions in order to prevent further damage done to yourself. I like that. Guilt does for the conscience, for the spirit, what pain does for the body. It's meant to grab your attention, to make you stop and consider your actions in order to prevent further damage done to yourself. But wasn't that pink blanket debunked as well, guys? That's what I heard. And no, they didn't have their coats on, so. Yeah. So that's what I've heard, guys. That was debunked. That one of them said that it wasn't Lily's. So, but anyway, guys, that's all I had for tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. Please, please hit the like button on your way out. Be sure and come back tomorrow. We'll be back at 5 p.m. Central Time. And have a wonderful evening. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.